Hello everyone and welcome to Sunrise Tarot. My name is Leah and today we'll be doing a reading for the sign of Cancer for 2024. 2024 is the year of the wooden dragon. It's going to be very fast paced, so it's important that you ground yourself. In addition to grounding yourself, you do also want to make it a daily practice to meditate, drink plenty of water. If you don't enjoy meditating or find it boring, you can always maybe stare at a candle for about 5 to 10 minutes because that helps you center yourself and get your energy into a natural flow that will help you feel better and also be more present, more aware, and be more mindful, which then reminds you what is truly important in your life. As you know, Cancer, this is a general reading, so there will be parts that may not resonate with you. Only take the parts that do and leave the rest for someone else. I've already meditated on the cards, I've already shuffled the cards, and this is the spread that I have for you today. In the past position, we have the Eight of Swords, clarified by the Hermit. In the obstacle position, we have the Nine of Pentacles, clarified by the Nine of Wands. In the advice from Spirit position, we have Ace of Swords, clarified by Judgment. In the first part of 2024, we have the Nine of Cups, clarified by the Five of Pentacles. And in the second part of 2024, we have the Page of Wands, clarified by the Two of Swords. So let's get right into the spread. In the past position, clearly there was an internal conflict because this combination, the Eight of Swords and the Hermit, kind of goes hand in hand. So there was something that was happening on the inside of you that you may be aware of, or maybe it was happening in your subconscious and it was manifesting in your daily life and kind of frustrating you because it's hard to kind of trace, where it's coming from when the subconscious has an impact on your consciousness, basically. But the Eight of Swords is a card that talks about feeling like you are trapped in a situation. Generally, that happens when our desire and our thoughts do not align. Like your head is pulling you in one direction, your heart is pulling you in the other direction, and therefore you can't move forward because you're kind of stuck. Because you feel like you're being split into two different people. Generally, you have to look at your thoughts, look at your beliefs, and remember, every time you have a thought, you emit a frequency. You also create another parallel universe as well. So every time you have an emotion, a feeling, you also create a frequency. And so it's important to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration, and to remember that it is an illusion that you feel sort of trapped. You are love, you are whole, you are exactly where you need to be. And the internal conflict generally happens because we are impacted by forces that are around us that are having an impact on our thoughts, our beliefs. You have to look at your beliefs and see what you can do in order to line them up with everything else. The internal conflict generally goes away when you have more experience. When you have more experience, you tend to go through different failures, and that builds your confidence because you know how not to do things. And so you become much more aware of what to do. The more life experience you have, the more interaction you have, the more you cultivate and create an understanding of what internal peace is all about. So it is, important to remember that you're not late for anything. You haven't missed anything. Everything that is destined for you to experience, you will experience. You have free will. And so it boils down to decision making. And of course, the Hermit, is in the clarifying position to to encourage you to, do like a self-reflection. Look for answers on the inside. Look at past experiences. Kind of see a parallel between, a past experience in high school and college and your first job, because things tend to repeat. So when you look for answers on the inside, your mind will tell you the answer. The search for truth is what the hermit generally focuses on. But you do have a lot of wisdom, Cancer. It is important not to be super hard on yourself because, the truth comes out when you simplify things. Remember what Jesus Christ said, the meek shall inherit the earth. Apparently he said that in Aramaic, and the proper translation, and that is arguable, but I've read somewhere that the proper translation is that the simple will inherit the earth. So when you feel the tension increases, simplify things, prioritize things. There should be one or two or three things that are super important. Everything else, is an illusion. It's a fantasy. It's something that siphons your energy, drains your energy. So be mindful, of that going into 2024. Now, in the obstacle position, you have Nine of Pentacles. So definitely the first thing that tells me is be aware of overindulging in anything. You don't want to, live like a king, because there's nothing wrong with living like a king, but you do want to think long term. It's important to be humble. It's important to have a certain amount of humility. It's important to prepare for unforeseen circumstances, and that requires budgeting and managing resources at your disposal. In a very responsible and thoughtful and considerate way. So, make sure you don't overspend. Make sure you don't over depend on others as well, because sometimes people get into delegating and get into over depending on someone else's opinion, action, and so on. So it's important to recognize your own independence. It's important to recognize your own independence. Sorry, I sneezed. Ugh. It's important to recognize your own independence, and it is also important to recognize that you are love. You're the pure energy of love. A lot of people spend a lot of money and time taking God out of you and putting it into some other building called the church, and putting it into some other book called the Bible or whatever else. The God is within you. You are a God particle because you come from the source. You are connected with the source through a silver cord, which sometimes is also referred to is what binds your soul that comes from the source to your body. So it's important to remember the God is already within you. You have incredible power just by thought alone, just by observation. You make an impact on the environment around you, and so you have incredible power. That's why so many other people that have created media, that have created businesses, all of these things are very distracting from what is really important, and that is a simple mindful sort of existence, because that is where the most happiness lies. You also have the Nine of Wands in the clarifying position, so that does tell me that there may be some delays and setbacks in 2024. So put on your patience hat. Make sure that you're very patient with yourself. Make sure that you're patient with other people as well, because you may be in a holding pattern where the universe recalibrates to create the best circumstances for you. Also be mindful of allowing other people in, because you, Cancer, sometimes have that quality where you can shut down and have that wall between yourself and others. It's important to allow other people in. Make sure you are mindful of that, that you are aware of that on a daily basis. Don't be as defensive, because everyone is going through their own sort of struggles and obstacles, whether it's Aries or Taurus or Leo or Virgo or any other sign. Everyone has things that they need to sort of focus on and work on. So, cultivate that courage and cultivate that resilience, because it will help you much more than you realize. The advice from Spirit here is the Ace of Swords and Judgment. The Ace of Swords is great because you're going to break through in 2024, which means you're going to have a powerful realization that's going to affect your values, your belief system, your thought pattern, your emotions, and that will change your frequency, and that will change your energy. Remember, you're not a human being. You are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. This human experience is a gift. You are here to learn about yourself. You are a part of God, a form of God that is sort of collecting information, investigating, and then bringing it back to the source. And then you are sort of moving on with your journey, as they say. But the Ace of Swords is a powerful element. It's a very powerful energy that is coming through for you in 2024. Clarity is on your side. You will be aware of, how powerful your logical thinking is, how powerful your rational thinking is. But, the most important is to be present and to be aware. If you just walked into your house and, put your keys down, your coat off or whatever, then you're washing your hand. Be present. Look at the water. What does the water feel like as it falls all over your hands? Be mindful, be present in the moment, because that is when your energy is most powerful. This is why it is important to stare at a candle, or to meditate, or to drink plenty of water, or to take walks in nature. And because everything is alive. Everything is alive, from ants and bugs to flowers to trees. Everything is alive. You're literally living in the movie called Avatar, where everything is moving. Everything is alive, because when you water your plants, they make a sound. If you put special equipment to the plant, you can actually hear the sound, and so on and so forth. Like, if you truly stop and think of how fantastical the world you live in is, it will really boggle your mind. So focus on that. Be strategical in your decision making. The Ace of Swords is all about logic and clarity, but it's also important to be strategical in your decision making. The Judgment in the clarifying position reminds you to look at what you've learned from the past, like reflect on the lessons of the past. What could you do better? If you had to go through the same lesson, play it out in your mind. What would you do better? What would you say better? What would you do or not do better? Would you hold yourself back, or maybe do more action? When you reflect, it's so much more powerful than, for example, reading. Reflection of your own actions, of your own thought patterns, creates a process of evolution in your mind. The neuroplasticity increases because your mind starts building pathways that weren't there before, and that is all due to observation and reflection. Those are very powerful exercises. Don't make the wrong right. Make sure you focus on what is the right thing to do. Remember the universal law: don't do harm to others, and you can have whatever it is that you want. In the first part of 2024, you have the Nine of Cups clarified by the Five of Pentacles. The Nine of Cups is a great card. It's a wish coming true card. It is a card of emotional fulfillment. So the funny part is that in the first part of 2024, a part of you is going to feel great. I mean, you're going to be like on a roll, feeling really great without maybe even realizing why you feel so great. But there is, you know, that emotional balance that is coming through with the Nine of Cups, you know. The Five of Pentacles is interesting because it tells me that the Five of Pentacles is a card of like a scarcity mindset. So sometimes, even though we feel emotionally great, we feel like we lack because we don't have the necessary funds, or because we don't have the necessary resources. It is important for you to find a balance between being emotionally happy with what you have disposable, you know, available to you. Even though you may feel like you're lacking, you're really not, because this world is not about money. Money is an illusion. What you need is air. What you need is water. What you need, you know, is those basic things that you cannot live without. Money is what you want. So it's important to realize that you already have what you need, and so the Five Pentacles aspect of it is there are always some kind of an external challenge, and so you should not allow the external challenge to affect your emotional harmony, to affect your emotional stability. And so that is important to narrow down in the first part of 2024. Now, in the second part of 2024, you have the Page of Wands, who's definitely very ambitious. The Page of Wands wants to accomplish a lot of things, but you also have the Two of Swords in the clarifying position, which tells me you're going to be hesitating. There are going to be very lucrative, very interesting opportunities that will present themselves to you in the second part of 2024, but it will be up to you not to hesitate and to move forward making a decision, because the Two of Swords is kind of like, should I go forward? Should I maybe change the whole situation? It's that hesitancy, uncertainty, you know, worrying about the outcome. Remember to have faith, because faith is the divine's, you know, job. How to do this or that or whatever, that's the divine's job. How that's going to bring about, you know, the outcome that you're seeking. Your job is to focus on the intention and the energy and vibration and preserving that in high mode. The rest will fall into its place. Remember that you are not God. You are a human being. Even though you are a God particle, you're also in this human form. That kind of allows you to make mistakes so that you can learn from those mistakes. No one ever learns anything if they live in a, you know, big palace with servants and everything. You learn when you have some sort of an external challenge. And so as you're overcoming challenges in 2024, dear Cancer, make sure to preserve your emotional fulfillment and stability and harmony, and keep an eye out on overindulging. You want to make sure you don't jump the gun. Moderation is the best way to proceed in 2024. Now, let's see what card we have for the Angel and Ancestor Oracle card. We've got Autumn, release the old and rest. Definitely releasing is very important, and you have to do it continuously because you are continuously evolving. So as it's again, it's back to the energy. Energy must flow. Energy comes out, energy goes out. Energy comes in, energy goes out, and so on and so forth. So releasing the old brings in the new. Change is constant. So once you kind of feel comfortable with change, things will fall into place and you will master the concept of time, because you will understand that the more you know, the more you learn, the more you experience, the more your consciousness expands. Things that used to scare you no longer do. Remember when you finished high school and you were going to college? I'm sure you were scared because it's a new place, new rules, new everything. But step by step, you were able to find your footing. You were able to create progress for yourself, and so on and so forth. So it's important to be mindful and present and aware on a daily basis to preserve your energy, because you're far more powerful than you realize. And a lot of people try and convince you, especially if you watch TV and read newspapers, that you don't have any power. And so that, is basically the game of life, if you will. Let's see what the Shaman Dream Oracle card has for us. And we have in the hand, the universe is your partner. Definitely a great card to have. Something amazing happens when you contemplate your intimate relationship with your higher power. How do you engage it? Perhaps you might have seen things through the influence of your religious background, or you may have been exposed to other ways of making the connection real for you. It doesn't matter the source of your understanding. What matters is what works for you. For example, if you believe in a God that punishes, you will be afraid of punishment for your transgressions. If you believe in a version of a higher power that blesses you, you may find it easier to surrender to a relationship of radical trust. Right now, if you imagine relaxing, curled up in the hands of the divine, how does that make you feel? Can you then turn over your needs and desires to that divine power and trust that you're safe and secure and don't have to do anything at all to feel that way? Grace is activated in your life now. You're in good hands. Your work, family, relationships, home, everything. You've done all you can. So now is the time to rest and recharge instead of producing, doing, acting, strategizing. A hot tea, a good book, and a soft blanket are in order. What a wonderful card. I also pulled a Queen of the Moon Oracle card, and we have nourishment, which is also a bit of a card that relates to the Shaman Dream Oracle card in the hand, because again, it is about, focusing on your mind, your body, and spirit, and feeding your values. When you are jealous or envious, it is a sign of what you're actually hungering for. Pay attention to these, signs. Be aware, be present. Sometimes we aren't sure, what our values are, but unconsciously we know. If our values are not being met or lived, we rebel, we get angry, we get depressed, we get stuck, or we take the chaotic choice in our decision making. And commonly our relationships in life are not harmonious. An example of this might be someone who has a strong value of honesty being asked to manipulate the truth every day in a sales job, or someone who highly values peace being surrounded by loud, drama-filled people who are just the opposite of peaceful. Meeting our values and living by them is a sure way to nourish our being. We feel more complete and fulfilled if we're able to do that. Additionally, it probably isn't an exaggeration to say that the Western world is obsessed by food for the wrong reasons. food is often used as pain relief. With many people overeating due to anxiety or pain, food became a diversion rather than something that is nourishing or even simply enjoyable. Learning to nourish bodies purely to give them what they really need is a key to mental and physical health. Companion stone to this card is emerald. So yeah, it's a card that reminds you about nourishing your mind, nourishing your body, and nourishing your spirit. So your mind, what are you feeding your mind? What movies are you watching? What radio stations are you listening to? What conversations are affecting you? That is, how you determine, how to nourish your mind. You need to cut out things that affect your mind negatively. Starve out the bad. Starve out the darkness. Just don't feed into it. Even if it's there, even if it's trying to get in, the bad energy, the low vibration, being depressed, being sad, angry, frustrated, whatever it is, starve it out. Refocus your mind on positivity. Refocus your mind on light, on laughter, on doing something that calms you down, that gives you peace, because it will, change your life in a very meaningful way. The food is also very important, what you eat. If you eat more like meat and not such great food that, maybe is overly fattening, like if you go to a restaurant, the portions are generally too big, that is very low vibrational. It will bring your vibration down. If you want to increase your vibration, you eat less, you eat vegetables, you eat fruit, you eat lighter food, basically. And you can do research on how different foods affect your vibration. I mean, like potatoes, how do they affect your vibration? Some kind of a spice, how does that affect your vibration? There's a lot of research done on that. And of course, nourishing your spirit, connecting with the divine. Connecting with the divine is really about, like I previously mentioned, staring at a candle, looking at the nature around you. That's the fastest way to connect with the divine. Meditating, allowing the divine to guide you and relying on your angels and spirit guides. The more you connect with the divine, the better you will feel overall, and the more confident you'll feel on which path you're on. I hope that 2024 is an incredible year. The most incredible year, I think, is 2024. 2026. 2026 is going to be the year of Cancer. So you're definitely going to be, this year is going to be very, I don't want to use the word chaotic because it's not my favorite word, but it is going to be a lot of progress. So you will feel that you have to be at your resilient self. There'll be a lot of progress, which is going to be amazing and great, because, the culmination of everything you're doing in 2024 will happen in 2026, because that is when Jupiter will be in the sign of Cancer. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll see you next time.